Saluting the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Living the Dream Award winners. Congratulations to you all.
Actually, my motivation is I always just want to make a difference in the community because I grew up in the inner city, and I know that the way the world is now, the leadership has changed, and the things that when I was a kid that were most important, they're not there anymore. And so now, the role models, leadership, there are not a lot of Dr. Martin Luther King's running around anymore in today's time and age. We have a lot of guys who try to make a difference, but he was one of those gentlemen, a distinguished gentleman, that had leadership skills that carried across variables of every race. All different people in the world were accepting of what his dedication was to the world. I am a veteran, and I'm a firm believer in giving back to the veteran community. And so I actually hooked up with a gentleman who knew me since I was a kid, Mr. Dennis Prince, who is the SAL commander at the American Legion, Travis L. Williams, Post 65. And he and I had a conversation, and I asked him what could I do to make a difference. So we curated some, I guess, what we call unique programming. One of the programs that we've created is called Veterans Reach to Teach. And it is a program that is supposed to help with our school system because there is a lack of civics, and they've taken a lot of stuff out of the schools. So we think that the veterans have a very compelling story to reach our young generation, and he's actually, the Post and himself and some of the leadership, veteran leadership in South Phoenix has actually stepped up to actually help me put that program together. And it's called Veterans Reach to Teach, veterans who served our country, now serve our classrooms. Labrador, we have another program that's called Hero Zona that we actually are partnering with Novoba and partnering with Nielsen and Senator McCain has been a big advocate to support us to make this the largest job fair / procurement for veterans in the country, along with some other support from Brian Sperber from Phoenix International Raceway and our mayor of the city of Phoenix, Greg Stanton. A young lady who's a very good friend of mine is like a sister to me, Marshall Franklin, and myself, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, was sitting down in Denny's with a napkin, and we actually saw what happened in Baltimore. And at the time, Marshall was making a transition from the airport to the police department. And one of the first things I suggested, and me and her was laughing about, I was like, why don't we put on some kind of forum or summit to make a difference? And she was like, not a bad idea. So we actually, put our thoughts together, and we actually pulled it off with the support of people like Mike Johnson, who is former city councilman and a retired police officer. And we actually kind of sat down in the room along with my partner Aaron Bear and kind of figured out what are some of the things that we could do to make a difference. And we structured this thing called the Bridge Forum, and now it's become a major piece of content. There's people from other places in the country actually want us to bring this content to their state. We actually took it to my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, had a great turnout, and we're actually in a partnership now with Thurgood Marshall and with Nielsen on rolling this thing out across the country. And we've had support from everybody from police officers, police chiefs. Noble has been very supportive. National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. We've had, extreme support on pulling these off, and we think that this is a way to create a conversation and create some dialogue that's positive, and we be more in a proactive role than a reactive role. Our mission is ensuring every student and every veteran gets a chance to cross the finish line. That's the most ultimate goal for me, is making sure that me being a veteran and me wanting to support and give back to the inner city is that we create programs that are not just for us, but for everybody, to figure out a way and to be able to pull the key assets out of people to make them successful. I know there's trials and tribulations and there's rough times. How did he overcome some of those obstacles internally to make him just, regardless of the rhetoric that was out there and, some of the physical and, verbal abuse he took for his leadership? How do you, just keep getting up every day when people try to knock you down? And I know, it comes from a higher power, from God, but then we have to, as a man, we have to be willing to accept, those things that God puts in us. So I'm just, worded that, that the heart and the courage and thing just to keep striving day after day, time after time. And, now we see that years later, I was born in 1967. Right after, I think I was right around the time he got assassinated, and I was a child, and it just shows you that, this many years later, I'll be 49 years old in Christmas, and his legacy still lives on, and the things that he said and the things that he done have all come to surpass, and there's been a bunch of change, but it all started with his leadership. I'm here to be solution oriented and to be proactive, not reactive. And my ultimate goal is just want everybody to help everybody fulfill their dreams and fulfill their goals. As I say, teamwork makes the dream work. I just want them to say that he tried to give his all to make sure that he provided a path for people who couldn't provide a path for themselves. I think the best thing is to pick what's dear to your heart. Don't try to be everything to everybody. Just do what you think you can do, or the things that you think within your skill set, or the things you think that's on your heart, and just put your heart into it. Sometimes I think we get caught up and think there's a formality for doing the right thing, and I think sometimes just doing the right thing actually gives you gives you what you need to be able to be accepted, to be able to give back and get people to appreciate. But sometimes I think we get caught up on wanting to get a pat on the back, and sometimes it's not about that, because at the end of the day, you're not measured for what you do for yourself. You're measured for what you do for other people. I just would like to say that, I've been in Arizona for 10 years, and I just want to thank people. I've had some great people that I've encountered with, and I just want to thank, me being an outsider. I mean, it took a little while, but I just want to, thank people for believing in some of the stuff that I'm trying to do, and actually, I want to thank the sponsors and some of the people who believe in what we're trying to do out here in the community. And I also want to thank, I've had some great mentorship since I've been here. I was able to cultivate a relationship with several gentlemen who make a big difference in the state. I've got mentorship from Andrew Cohen from Levine Investments, who sits on the aviation board with me, who's become a big brother and a role model. Mr. Ken Kendrick, who owns the Arizona Diamondbacks, who is like a big brother and a mentor to me. And, Art Hamilton, who is, just has been exceptional in giving me leadership and understanding, some of the things I need to know about the community, on down to the Clovis Campbell and the Arizona Informant being very supportive and showing me how you integrate and make a difference in the community. And people like that, and the Mike Johnsons, and the people even like yourself, Ron. You've been instrumental in when I need to know something or want something, you're very non-biased. So those are the type of people that I like to, that I've cultivated a relationship with. Has actually showed me the roadmap and the things that I can do to make a difference. And I think that goes back to my testimony earlier, is who you surround yourself with is who you become. I would say thank you for everything you've done to create a pathway for leadership from decades after decades and 10 years after 10 years. I just want to thank you for, being out and taking the sacrifice, making the ultimate sacrifice so others could follow in your footsteps. Well, we initially started the backpack drive maybe 4 years ago, Phoenix Tools to School. And, we had tried different places to put it. It was something that started with me and Mike Johnson when he was in his final year of being a councilman. And I went and sat with him and Clovis Campbell and some other people. And then they was like, hey, you ought to think about moving it to the American Legion post 65. And I went over, and that's when I talked to Prince. Prince has been knowing me since I was a kid, because he used to live in Louisville. So when we got to talking, I was like, hey, this could be the cornerstone. I think the American Legion post 65 is the cornerstone of one of the cornerstones of the South Side. Thank you, Dr. King.